The clinic conference room was quiet when Dr. Halpern entered. Adrian was already standing. Elena remained seated, the baby carrier beside her chair. "We've completed the review," Dr. Halpern said. Adrian didn't wait. "And?" "The developmental timeline confirms pregnancy began at embryo transfer. There was no overlap conception." Adrian exhaled. Elena didn't. "So the incident between Mr. Vale and Ms. Collins did not create the pregnancy," the doctor continued. Elena nodded once. "Understood." Dr. Halpern glanced at the file again. "There is another matter." Adrian's posture stiffened. "What matter?" "As part of the legal dispute, an extended DNA panel was conducted." Elena looked up. "The child's genetic markers do not match you, Mrs. Vale." Silence. "And they do not match you, Mr. Vale." Adrian blinked. "That's not possible." "It has been verified twice." Elena's voice stayed level. "Explain." "There appears to have been a storage labeling discrepancy within the embryo facility." Adrian's tone sharpened. "Discrepancy?" "A batch code similarity. One-digit variance. Under audit, it appears the incorrect embryo was thawed." Elena didn't move. "So the embryo implanted in Ms. Collins was not ours." "That is correct." "And it is not genetically related to my husband and Ms. Collins." "Correct." Adrian stepped forward. "Run it again." "We have," Dr. Halpern said. Elena looked at the baby. He shifted slightly in his carrier. She adjusted the blanket without speaking. "Whose embryo was used?" she asked. "We are currently identifying the correct file match." "You don't know," Adrian said. "Not yet." The room went still. Elena spoke again. "So biologically, this child does not belong to either of us." "Yes." Adrian shook his head. "No. That doesn't change anything." Elena turned to him slowly. "It changes everything." The emergency hearing was advanced 48 hours. The courtroom felt different. The affair had been central before. Now the clinic's attorney stood first. "There was a procedural failure within frozen embryo storage," he said. "Preliminary audit indicates adjacent cryogenic slots contained embryos with similar alphanumeric identifiers. A cross-verification step was not completed during thaw." The judge leaned forward. "To be clear, the child born to Ms. Collins is not genetically related to Mr. and Mrs. Vale?" "That is correct." "And not genetically related to Mr. Vale and Ms. Collins?" "Correct." A quiet reaction moved through the courtroom. Mara sat still. For the first time, she did not look certain. Her lawyer stood. "Then who are the biological parents?" "We are in the process of confirming." The judge's expression hardened. "How does a facility of this level misplace genetic material?" The clinic attorney replied carefully. "Human error." The phrase lingered. Human error. Elena did not look at Adrian. Adrian did not look at her. After adjournment, Mara approached Elena in the hallway. "You knew?" Mara asked. "No," Elena replied. Mara's voice lowered. "Then he's not yours." Elena met her gaze. "He's not yours either." Mara's jaw tightened. "I carried him." "Yes." "And now what?" Mara asked. Elena answered evenly. "Now we find out who he belongs to." Adrian stepped in. "Stop." Elena turned to him. "You don't get to control this conversation." He didn't respond. That night, the house was quiet. Adrian stood in the nursery doorway. Elena was beside the crib. "He's still ours," Adrian said. Elena didn't turn. "On what basis?" "We've been raising him." "For how long?" she asked. Since birth. And before that? Adrian hesitated. She continued. We signed contracts. We trusted a system. We assumed biology. It was supposed to be ours, he said. It wasn't. Adrian's tone hardened. So what are you saying? I'm saying we built a future on the wrong file. He stepped further into the room. You don't stop being his mother because of paperwork. Elena finally faced him. I wasn't his biological mother. You were going to be. That's different. He ran a hand over his face. You're detaching. No, she said calmly. I'm adjusting to reality. Adrian stared at her. Do you still love him? Elena paused. That's not the right question. The next morning, the clinic called. The identified couple has been notified, the attorney said. Do they want custody? Adrian asked immediately. They've requested a meeting. Elena spoke before Adrian could object. I'll attend. Adrian turned sharply. Absolutely not. She looked at him without raising her voice. I wasn't asking. He stared at her. This affects both of us. Yes, she replied. And I need to see them. Why? To understand what we're actually standing on. He folded his arms. We don't owe them anything. Elena held his gaze. That depends on who he is. Adrian didn't answer. And for the first time since the DNA result, the silence between them wasn't about betrayal. It was about ownership. The meeting was scheduled at the clinic. No attorneys inside the room. Just Elena. And the couple. Adrian objected until the last minute. You don't owe them this, he said. Elena buttoned her coat. That's not for you to decide. You're walking into a situation that could complicate everything. It's already complicated. He stepped closer. If they want him. She looked at him steadily. Then we deal with that. You're speaking like he isn't ours. Elena held his gaze. We just learned he isn't. Adrian's jaw tightened. You're distancing. I'm clarifying. He didn't follow her out. The clinic placed them in a private consultation room. The couple was already seated when Elena entered. The woman stood first. She looked exhausted. The man remained seated but nodded politely. Elena closed the door behind her. No one spoke immediately. The woman broke the silence. We were told our embryo didn't survive. Elena sat across from them. I'm sorry. The man spoke next. We had one viable embryo. Elena listened. We received a call 2 days ago, the woman continued. They said there had been a mistake. Elena nodded once. Yes. The woman's hands were clasped tightly together. Is he healthy? She asked. Yes, Elena answered. The woman closed her eyes briefly. Does he? She paused. Does he look like either of us? Elena considered the question. I don't know, she said honestly. The man leaned forward. We're not here to fight. Elena didn't respond immediately. Then why are you here? She asked. The woman met her eyes. We need to understand what happened. Elena studied her. And if understanding leads to custody? She asked. The room went quiet. The man answered carefully. We don't know yet. Elena held his gaze. You don't know. The woman's voice shifted slightly. We grieved him. Elena's expression didn't change. We buried the idea of him, the woman continued. We thought he was gone. Elena listened without interrupting. The woman swallowed. Now he exists. And we don't know what we're supposed to do with that. Elena leaned back slightly. You're not asking for him, she said. Not today, the man replied. But you might, Elena said. The woman didn't deny it. Elena nodded slowly. I need to ask you something, she said. The couple waited. If you had been told the embryo survived, if he had been born to someone else, would you expect him back automatically? The man exchanged a glance with his wife. That's not simple, he said. No, Elena agreed. It isn't. The woman's voice softened. Are you his mother? She asked. Elena held her gaze. I've been raising him. That wasn't the question. Elena didn't respond immediately. No, she said finally. Not biologically. The woman nodded once. I didn't carry him, she said. But he was ours. Elena didn't argue. They sat in silence for several seconds. Then the man asked the question Elena expected. Do you want to keep him? Elena answered directly. I don't know. That surprised them. The woman frowned slightly. You don't know? Elena's voice stayed even. I fought a custody battle believing he was mine. That belief is gone. The man studied her. But your attachment isn't. Elena didn't confirm or deny. I need time, she said. The woman nodded. So do we. When Elena returned home, Adrian was waiting in the kitchen. Well, he asked. They don't know what they want. That's good, he replied immediately. Elena removed her coat. It's not good. Why? Because uncertainty drags. Adrian folded his arms. Did they demand anything? No. Did they threaten legal action? No. Then we're fine. Elena looked at him carefully. We're not fine. He frowned. You're assuming the worst. I'm preparing for it. Adrian stepped closer. Did you tell them you're keeping him? I told them I don't know. His expression changed. What do you mean you don't know? Elena met his eyes. I mean I don't know. You can't be serious. I'm very serious. Adrian's voice sharpened. You've been raising him. Yes. You fought Mara in court. Yes. And now you're hesitating? Elena didn't raise her voice. I fought Mara because I believed she was trying to take my child. And now? Now I know he isn't. Adrian stared at her. So biology suddenly matters? It always mattered, she replied. We just thought it was on our side. He shook his head. This doesn't change how you feel. You don't get to define that. Adrian's tone hardened. You're punishing me. Elena's eyes narrowed slightly. This isn't about you. It is, he said. You're detaching from him because you're detaching from me. Elena held his gaze. I'm detaching from assumptions. He exhaled sharply. You're not making sense. I am, she said calmly. You just don't like it. He turned away. You're going to let strangers decide? He asked. No, Elena replied. I'm deciding what I can live with. Adrian faced her again. And what can you live with? Elena didn't answer. Because she didn't know yet. But for the first time since the DNA results, the question wasn't about custody. It was about identity. And she was beginning to realize something neither Adrian nor Mara had considered. This wasn't a fight for a child anymore. It was a question of who she was willing to become. Elena didn't sleep that night. Not because the baby cried. He slept. Quiet. Consistent. It was everything else that stayed awake. By morning, Adrian was already on the phone. Elena walked into the kitchen and heard his voice before she saw him. No, you don't understand, Adrian said. If this goes public, we lose control of everything. He noticed Elena and lowered his voice, turning slightly. Yes, he repeated into the phone. I'll call you back. He ended the call and looked at her. That was the lawyer, he said. Elena poured water into a glass without looking at him. He said the other couple can file for emergency custody review, Adrian continued. Elena took a sip. They told me they weren't here to fight. They said that to you, Adrian replied. Not to a judge. Elena set the glass down carefully. What are you doing? What do you mean? You were on the phone like you were planning a defense. Adrian held her gaze. Because we need one. Elena's voice stayed level. We. Adrian didn't miss the emphasis. You're acting like you've already left, he said. Elena didn't deny it. Instead, she asked, have you talked to Mara? Adrian's jaw tightened. No. Elena watched him. That was too fast. Adrian's voice sharpened. I said no. Elena nodded once. Then show me your phone. Adrian stared. What? Show me your phone. No. Elena's expression didn't change. Then you have talked to her. Adrian stepped closer. Elena, this is not the time for your distrust. It's the only time, she cut in, quiet but firm. You lost the right to tell me what time it is. Adrian exhaled and turned away. I'm trying to protect us, he said. Elena's eyes narrowed slightly. Or protect yourself. He didn't answer. By noon, the story had reached the media. Not names yet. But enough. Embryo mix-up was trending in the local news cycle. Adrian watched clips on his phone at the kitchen island like he thought staring hard enough could undo it. Elena walked past him with the baby. Adrian looked up. We need to keep him off cameras. Elena didn't stop. No one is filming in our house. They will, Adrian said. People will camp outside. Elena's voice stayed flat. Then you should have thought about that before you went to her after midnight. Adrian flinched like he'd been struck. That again, he said. Elena adjusted the baby's blanket. Always. Mara arrived in the afternoon. Not through the gate. Through the front door. Elena found her standing in the entryway like she belonged there. Adrian was behind her, tense. Elena, Adrian said quickly, I didn't invite her. She just. I came because you're all pretending I don't exist, Mara said. Elena set the baby carrier down on the sofa and looked at her. You filed for custody, Elena said. That's existing. Mara's face tightened. And now the baby isn't even yours. Elena held her gaze. He isn't yours either. Mara stepped forward slightly. I carried him. Elena didn't move. You carried him under contract. Mara's voice rose a notch. And then your husband came to me. Adrian snapped, stop. Mara turned her head toward him. Don't tell me to stop. You don't get to stop anything anymore. Elena watched them. They had an ease when they argued. Like two people who had been alone together too many times. Elena spoke. Why are you here? Mara looked back at her. Because everyone is acting like this mistake erases what happened. Elena's eyes sharpened. It doesn't erase it. Mara's tone shifted, quieter. Then why are you suddenly calm? Elena answered evenly. Because now I know what I'm dealing with. Mara gave a small, bitter laugh. You're dealing with loss. That's what you're dealing with. Elena didn't react. Mara continued. You fought me because you thought you were the mother. Now you're not. So what are you fighting for? Adrian stepped closer to Elena. Don't listen to her. Elena glanced at him. I'm not. Mara's eyes flicked to the baby carrier. Do you even feel anything when you look at him now? Adrian's voice went sharp. Enough. Elena spoke without raising her voice. She asked a question. Adrian stared at her. Elena. Elena held his gaze. Don't. Then she answered Mara, calmly. I feel the same thing I felt yesterday. Mara scoffed. Then keep him. Elena didn't respond immediately. Mara's expression changed as if she realized what she'd said. Wait, Mara added quickly, that's not what I meant. Elena looked at her. What did you mean? Mara's jaw tightened. I meant, you don't get to pretend you're strong when you're not. Elena nodded once. I'm not pretending. Mara's eyes narrowed. Then say it. Say you're going to give him back. Adrian turned sharply toward Mara. Back to who? Mara ignored him, watching Elena. Elena's voice stayed controlled. This isn't your decision. Mara's laugh was short. None of it is your decision anymore. The clinic decides. The judge decides. The biological parents decide. Elena took one step forward. And I decide what I participate in, she said. Mara's mouth tightened. Adrian said, Mara, you need to leave. Mara turned to him. You're scared. Adrian's face hardened. Leave. Mara looked back at Elena one last time. You think you can walk away from this and still be clean, she said quietly. You can't. Elena didn't answer. Mara walked out. Adrian stood still, staring after her. Elena watched him. You brought her here, she said. Adrian didn't deny it. She called, he said. Elena nodded slightly. And you answered. That evening, their lawyer arrived in person. Elena sat across from him in the living room. Adrian stood near the window again, like he couldn't sit without looking guilty. The other couple is considering filing, the lawyer said. Not because they want conflict. Because their legal position requires they respond. Adrian cut in. We can negotiate. The lawyer glanced at him. Negotiate what? Adrian spoke fast. Shared custody. Visitation. Anything. We keep him in our home. Elena looked at Adrian. Our home. Adrian turned toward her. Elena, don't do that. The lawyer cleared his throat. There's another issue. Elena didn't move. What issue? The clinic is offering an initial settlement package, he said. It includes non-disclosure. Adrian's eyes sharpened. Good. Elena looked at him. Good for who? Adrian replied, for us. We take it, we control the narrative. Elena turned to the lawyer. What are the terms? The lawyer answered carefully. It doesn't remove their claim. But it positions you as the established caregivers with institutional support. Adrian said immediately, exactly. Elena stared at Adrian for a long second. Then she said, no. Adrian turned sharply. What? Elena repeated calmly. No. The lawyer paused. Mrs. Vale. I'm not signing something that turns a child into a negotiation tool, Elena said. Not with you. Not with them. Adrian's voice rose. So you'd rather lose him? Elena looked at him. You keep using the word lose like he was ever properly won. Adrian's face tightened. You're doing this because of me. Elena answered quietly, I'm doing this because I'm not letting you drag me into another lie. The lawyer looked between them. Then we need to prepare for open court, he said. And if you don't cooperate as a unit. Elena held his gaze. We are not a unit. Adrian froze. The sentence landed with more force than shouting. The lawyer spoke carefully. Are you saying you intend to separate legal strategy? Elena nodded once. Yes. Adrian stared at her like he couldn't accept what he'd heard. You can't, he said. Elena's voice stayed level. Watch me. Later that night, Adrian followed her into the nursery. Elena was standing by the crib again. Adrian stopped behind her. You're breaking us, he said. Elena didn't turn. You broke us. He swallowed. I made a mistake. Elena finally faced him. You made choices, she said. He stepped closer. Are you leaving me? Elena didn't answer immediately. Then she said, I'm leaving the version of my life where you decide what truth is allowed. Adrian's eyes widened slightly. That's not an answer. It is, Elena replied. He looked at the baby. Then back at her. And what about him? Adrian asked. Are you leaving him too? Elena's voice remained controlled. I haven't decided. Adrian's face changed, fear, then anger. You can't talk about him like he's optional. Elena held his gaze. You did. Adrian went still. Because she was right. He had treated the pregnancy like a comfort source. A fix. A replacement. Elena looked away first. Court is in 2 days, she said. I'll be ready. Adrian asked softly, ready for what? Elena answered without emotion. Ready to choose. And Adrian realized then that he might not be part of that choice at all. Court reconvened on a Monday morning. No media inside this time. Just the parties. The clinic's legal team. The biological parents. Mara. Adrian. Elena. The judge entered and reviewed the updated filings. The court now recognizes confirmed genetic parentage belonging to Mr. and Mrs. Carter, the judge said. The biological parents sat still. The Valles are not biologically related to the minor child, the judge continued. The surrogate, Ms. Collins, has no biological claim. Mara didn't react. She looked smaller now. The judge folded his hands. This matter now concerns custodial determination under extraordinary medical negligence. He looked toward Elena. Mrs. Vale, do you intend to pursue custodial claim? Adrian's head turned sharply toward her. The biological parents watched her carefully. Mara leaned forward slightly. Elena stood. She didn't rush. She didn't look at Adrian. Yes, she said. Adrian exhaled in visible relief. The judge nodded. On what basis? Elena answered clearly. Continuity of care. The judge waited. I have been raising him since birth, she continued. Feeding him. Holding him. Responding to him. That does not disappear because paperwork was incorrect. The biological mother closed her eyes briefly. The judge turned toward the Carters. Your response? Mr. Carter stood. We didn't know he existed, he said. We were told the embryo failed. Mrs. Carter spoke next. We don't want to take him from stability. But he is ours. The room went quiet. Elena looked at them directly. I know, she said. Adrian glanced at her, confused by her tone. The judge leaned forward. Mrs. Vale, if the biological parents pursue full custody, are you prepared for extended litigation? Elena didn't hesitate. No. Adrian's head snapped toward her. The judge narrowed his eyes slightly. Clarify. Elena kept her voice even. I will not engage in a prolonged battle that turns a child into leverage. Adrian leaned toward her and whispered, what are you doing? She didn't respond. The judge continued. Then are you seeking negotiated guardianship? Elena paused. Everyone watched her. No, she said. Silence. The judge adjusted his glasses. Are you withdrawing your custodial claim? Adrian spoke under his breath. Elena, don't. Elena looked straight ahead. Yes, she said. The word landed heavily. Adrian stood abruptly. No. The judge's gaze shifted to him. Mr. Vale, sit down. Adrian didn't move immediately. Elena, he said sharply, you can't be serious. She finally turned to him. I am. You said yes, he insisted. You just said yes. I changed my answer. The courtroom remained silent. The judge asked carefully, Mrs. Vale, you understand that withdrawing means the court will prioritize biological placement? Yes. You understand you may not retain primary guardianship? Yes. Adrian's voice rose. Why are you doing this? Elena met his eyes. Because I am not going to build a life around a mistake that keeps multiplying. His expression shifted from anger to disbelief. He's not a mistake, Adrian said. No, Elena replied. The system was. Mrs. Carter began to cry quietly. Mr. Carter reached for her hand. The judge spoke again. Mrs. Vale, are you making this decision freely? Yes. Without coercion? Yes. Do you wish to make a statement for the record? Elena paused. Then she nodded. I entered this process grieving a child I lost, she said. I trusted professionals. I trusted contracts. I trusted my marriage. She didn't look at Adrian. I fought when I believed someone was trying to take what was mine. A small shift in the room. But this child was never biologically mine. Adrian's jaw tightened. Elena continued. And I will not compete with his origin. The judge asked, do you relinquish your custodial claim voluntarily? Yes. Adrian shook his head slowly. You're giving up, he said. Elena looked at him. I'm choosing. The judge nodded once. The court will proceed with transitional placement under supervision pending final order. The gavel came down. It sounded final. Outside the courtroom, Adrian followed her down the corridor. Elena, he said urgently. Stop. She didn't stop walking. You don't just walk away, he continued. She turned at the elevator. Watch me. His voice lowered. You loved him. She didn't deny it. And you're just done, he pressed. She looked at him carefully. I loved the idea of him, she said. I loved who I thought he was to me. Adrian's eyes widened slightly. He's still the same child, he said. No, Elena replied. He isn't. That doesn't make sense. It does, she said calmly. I needed him to be something specific. He isn't that. Adrian's expression hardened. So this is punishment? No. Then what? Elena held his gaze. It's clarity. He stepped closer. You'd rather let strangers raise him? She didn't react to the word strangers. They aren't strangers, she said. They're his parents. And what are you? She didn't answer immediately. Then she said, someone who stepped in temporarily. Adrian's face changed. That's not how this works. That's exactly how this worked, she replied. The elevator doors opened. She stepped inside. He followed. You're also leaving me, he said. She looked at the floor indicator. Yes. The word was quiet. He stared at her reflection in the elevator doors. Because of this? Because of everything. The doors opened. They walked into the parking structure. Adrian stopped near the car. Is there anything I can say? He asked. Elena considered that. No. He looked down. I never meant for any of this. I know, she said. And that's the problem. She unlocked the car. He watched her open the driver's door. You're going home? He asked. No. Where are you going? She looked at him one last time. To build something that doesn't start with a lie. He didn't follow her. She closed the door. The engine started. Adrian stood there as she drove away. The transition took weeks. Court-supervised exchanges. Paperwork. Signatures. No shouting. No scenes. Mrs. Carter held the baby carefully the first time without hospital staff in the room. Elena was present. She didn't interfere. Mr. Carter said quietly, "Thank you." Elena nodded. "That's not necessary," she said. Mrs. Carter asked softly, "Do you want updates?" Elena thought about it. "No." Mrs. Carter hesitated. "Are you sure?" Elena met her eyes. "Yes." The house felt different without the crib. Adrian remained. Elena didn't. She filed for divorce 2 days after final placement. He signed slower than she expected. When he called, she didn't answer. When he texted, she didn't respond. Not out of anger. Out of completion. Months later, Elena walked through a smaller apartment. No nursery. No extra room. No framed sonograms. Her phone buzzed once. A notification from an unknown number. She looked at it. A photo attachment. She didn't open it. She deleted the message. Then she placed the phone face down on the table. She stood by the window. Quiet. No tears. No collapse. Just absence. And for the first time since the hospital room. No one was asking her to choose. Sometimes strength isn't holding on. It's knowing when the story was never yours. If this story made you question what you would do, comment below. Would you have fought? Or would you have walked away? Like the video if you stayed until the end. Subscribe for the next story, because the next one won't be easier.